According to Indian mythology, Lord Shiva is the prime god of destruction. However, compared to other gods of destruction in different mythologies, we find him to be exact opposite of a ruthless foreboding entity. Today, let's imagine him as a Dungeons and Dragons hero based on his traits described in ancient Indian scriptures while making an artwork of him as that D&D hero. Dungeons and Dragons, or in short D&D, is one of the most popular fantasy tabletop role-playing games. Since its inception in the 70s, D&D has been a genre-defining name in the pop culture, expanding from a tabletop RPG franchise to comics, video games, YouTube shows, movies, animated series, books, and so on. Baldur's Gate, Critical Role, Neverwinter Nights, these are some of the most popular names when it comes to D&D. Especially Baldur's Gate 3 by Larian Studios made history with bringing normal video game players into D&D fold with a perfect blending of action and dice-based RPG games. In D&D, there are several classes and fantasy races that are playable, and we are going to see what class race combo suits better for the Indian god of destruction. We will be following the general rules while creating the character, but may deviate in places to make it easier to incorporate the mythological aspects into the fantasy of the RPG world. Indian mythology talks about numerous gods having specific powers and niche, and the singularity that drives the entire universe, both known and unknown. It is also said that the gods in Indian mythology are actually different expressions of that singularity. Now, among these expressions of primordial energy, there are three entities that maintain the cycle of natural order. This holy trinity is what being worshipped as the primal gods of existence. They are Lord Brahma, the prime god of creation, Lord Vishnu, the prime god of preservation, and Lord Shiva, the prime god of destruction. With the belief of reincarnation, these three actions, that is creation, preservation and destruction, are actually parts of the cycle of existence. One thing to be noted, in most mythologies, the last part, that is the destruction, is often enforced with death and chaos. And this is true in this case also. Although Lord Shiva is not the ruler of the realm of death, he has a huge number of devotees who are essentially ghosts residing in the mountains and funeral grounds. The mythological stories of India clearly pictures him as a benevolent and amiable god, but there are instances where his rage brought upon untold chaos on the creation. To be honest, for someone with a basic understanding of D&D rules and brief knowledge of Indian mythology, defining the class of Lord Shiva is a no-brainer. Lord Shiva is called the Adi Yogi, which literally means the primordial monk. So, while we are going deep into this discussion, we can easily illustrate him as a D&D monk. Lord Shiva, one of the principal deities in Hinduism, is often associated with asceticism, meditation, cosmic balance, and destruction. He embodies the ultimate sage, mastering both physical prowess and spiritual wisdom. As a D&D monk, his character would reflect these qualities with a focus on transcendence, martial discipline, and inner peace, while also wielding immense destructive power when necessary. Lord Shiva is also known for not wearing any armor or protective gears during his battles, which goes with the unarmored defense of monk class. Lord Shiva is not only the god of destruction, but also the patron deity of dance. However, as D&D does not have a dedicated dancer class, we can associate this aspect of dancing with agile physical movements of a monk. This gives us the subclass Way of the Open Hand. The Way of the Open Hand represents his mastery over the physical and spiritual selves, combining martial prowess with inner peace. It fits Shiva's mastery of martial arts, meditation and balance, as it focuses on perfecting the body and controlling the flow of energy within the physical self. Unarmed combat is a focal point of the Open Hand subclass, and if we look into the stories of Lord Shiva fighting in the battlefield or destroying the universe, he is generally using his palms, fists and feet, and only in extremely dire situations used his trident. So, the open hand subclass that excels in unarmed combat is best suited for him. To represent Lord Shiva in D&D, we need a race that can effectively reflect his divine nature, combining with destructive power. We can consider Asimar race to showcase the celestial attributes. To illustrate the god of destruction aspect, the Scourge Asimar subrace can be a fitting choice. Asimar are celestial beings tied to divine powers, and Scourge Asimar are known for their destructive nature, which could parallel Lord Shiva's role as a destroyer. We could also consider Kalastar race, who have strong connection with dreams and spirits to represent Shiva's perfect mental and spiritual balance, along with his ghost devotees. Fireball can also be selected for their mystical powers and raw physical strength, but I think Scourge Asimar would be better in this situation. Being a Scourge Asimar, Lord Shiva gains ability points in charisma and constitution. Now, for a monk, dexterity and wisdom are the primary stats, but being more resilient and having a charismatic presence are always welcome for a divine martial artist like him. He also gets dark vision, allowing him to see far in the dark. This can be linked with his transcendent nature, symbolizing the all-seeing cosmic awareness. He also gets celestial resistance, offering protection against radiant and necrotic damage. This reflects his imperviousness to both the forces of life and death. As a god of destruction, Lord Shiva is known for his Tandava dance, which brings unimaginable destruction to the universe. This can be linked with radiant consumption, a racial skill that deals immense radiant damage to the enemies all around. There is a story that when Lord Shiva protects someone, not even Lord Yama, the god of death, can claim that life. A parallel can be drawn between that and the Asima racial skill Healing Hands, which, as the name suggests, heals allies through touch. Lord Shiva is the primordial monk, living in the snowy depths of the Himalayas. Being an omnipresent entity, he can also be seen roaming the funeral grounds with his ghost followers and ascetic devotees. In Hinduism, funeral grounds and lonely mountains are considered ideal places for meditation, as these areas reflect the futility of material desires. He is often depicted in deep meditation and represents detachment from material concerns. His lifestyle of renunciation and contemplation reflects the hermit background, which emphasizes solitude and deep spiritual discovery, which makes it the most appropriate choice in D&D. Hermit background is ideal for a character whose path has involved profound isolation, contemplation, and a unique discovery of cosmic truths. His hermitage is in the deep mountains, where his isolation grants him spiritual strength and understanding of the cosmic order, aligning with the hermit's ability to unlock wisdom and knowledge through seclusion. Lord Shiva's long periods of meditation and detachment from material affairs would grant him great insights into the universe, much like the discovery feature of the hermit, where he gains knowledge that few others possess. When in think or imagine a god of destruction in fantasy stories, usually a chaotic and evil entity comes to mind. However, if we delve deep into mythology, the god of destruction is actually a being that seeks to maintain harmony in the world. Neutrality is a big aspect of the primordial gods in Indian mythology. It is a recurring fact in the mythological stories that the Holy Trinity always offer patronage to anyone who worship them wholeheartedly. What these worshippers do after getting powers from the gods is up to them, and here comes the perfect examples of free thinking. They can be extremely good like the Asura prince Prahlad, or egoistic evil like demon overlord Ravan. So, considering the mythological aspects, Lord Shiva should have true neutral alignment. His neutrality comes from his understanding of the cosmic cycle. Destruction is not inherently evil, but a necessary part of life, and he serves as the one who maintains this equilibrium. As a monk, wisdom and dexterity are primary attributes for Lord Shiva. Because his race does not give him any racial bonus in these two, we will increase them up to 15, and during level ups, we will take 2 ability score improvements and take them up to 19 each. Constitution reflects his endurance necessary to contain his cosmic energies and survive harsh ascetic practices. Here we get +1 from racial bonus and increase the score to 16. To match his mythological background, Insight will be a good skill choice. It will get boost from his wisdom stat. Insight determines the true intentions of a creature, and being an omniscient being, this suits pretty well. Another skill to choose will be acrobatics, which gets boost from dexterity stat and goes well with monk class. Because of hermit background, Lord Shiva also gets medicine and religion. The proficiency in medicine suits with his influence over death, where he can stop even the god of death from claiming mortal life, and as a god, a being a religious entity, religion proficiency also sits well. On the way to level 20, every 4th level gives a choice. Either choose a feat or an ability score improvement that adds +2 to any stat. Now, as we are taking 4 ability score improvements to add points to wisdom and dexterity, we can have only one feat. I think the feat alert will be the best here. Alert adds +5 to his initiatives, which is already high due to high dexterity. This will cause Lord Shiva to decimate his opponents even before they can lift a finger or understand what is going on. Alert can be a metaphor of the omniscience of the god, as nothing can hide from him. We can also draw parallel between alert feat and the third eye of Lord Shiva, which is known to cause untold destruction within a flash. Based on Indian mythology, Lord Shiva as a D&D hero will have a divine trident, which we can consider as a quarterstaff, and a specialized hand drum. Now, as we are primarily focused on the unarmed strikes, we have not drawn the trident in the artwork. You can see him playing the hand drum. At level 1, he gets unarmored defense, where he doesn't wear armor but relies on his divine physical body, combining dexterity and wisdom for his armor class. In mythology, he wears only a tiger skin, and even in battlefield, he never needed any armor or protective gears other than that tiger skin. The unarmed strike feature makes his basic attacks to represent the pure force of his cosmic energy. His physical mastery allows him to make unarmed strikes with grace and power. This reflects his legendary skills in combat as well as his ascetic lifestyle. He can unleash a flurry of blows, echoing his cosmic dance that destroys and renews the universe. At level 2, he gets key points to spend on special attacks. These key points reflect his mastery over cosmic energy and inner life force. He can use ki for additional attacks, dodging and defense. He also gets unarmored movement that increases his speed, mimicking the mythological reference of his swift movements in the battle and his ability to transcend earthly limitations. Key points get increased with level ups, and he will have 20 of them at final level. At level 3, with deflect missiles, Lord Shiva can deflect incoming attacks with ease, representing his control over the physical world. As an open-hand monk, he can knock enemies prone, push them back, or stun them, representing his martial arts mastery. At level 4, we get the alert feat to increase his initiative. We also get slow fall, where he can fall from great heights without harm, representing his control over gravity and his ability to transcend physical danger. At level 5, Lord Shiva gets an extra attack per action and stunning strike, where he can strike with such force that it stuns his enemies, representing his powers overwhelming his foes. Level 6 gives key empowered strikes, where his unarmed attacks are now magical, representing his mastery over cosmic energy, and wholeness of body, where Lord Shiva can heal himself, symbolizing his ascetic practices and control over life and death. At level 7, Lord Shiva can evade even the most dangerous attacks, moving with supernatural speed and awareness. With stillness of mind, he can end effects that charm or frighten him, reflecting his divine focus and ability to overcome illusions and distractions. At level 8, we get first ability score improvement, adding +2 to dexterity, reaching to 17. Level 9 gives unarmored movement improvement, allowing moving on difficult terrain easily, and also moving on vertical surfaces like running up a wall. Level 10 gives purity of body, making Lord Shiva immune to poison and disease, representing his divine nature and his ability to purify toxins. In Indian mythology, he once drank all the poison released by the great serpent king to save the whole creation. At level 11, the skill Tranquility envelops him in a calming aura at the beginning of the encounter. This represents his serene, meditative state and grants him sanctuary from attacks until he strikes first. At level 12, we get second ability score improvement, adding +2 to wisdom, reaching to 17. Level 13 gives Tongue of the Sun and Moon, where Lord Shiva can communicate with all beings, representing his role as the cosmic mediator who transcends all barriers, including language. At level 14, with Diamond Soul, Lord Shiva gains proficiency in all saving throws, reflecting his divine invulnerability. He can also reroll failed saving throws, symbolizing his mastery over fate and his role as the eternal being who overcomes all challenges. Level 15 gives Timeless Body, representing the eternal nature and cosmic existence of Lord Shiva as the primordial god. At level 16, we get another ability score improvement, adding +2 to dexterity, reaching to 19. Level 17 gives Quivering Palm. Lord Shiva can set up vibrations in a creature's body that can deal massive damage and even kill instantly. This represents his role as the destroyer, able to end life with a mere touch when necessary. With Empty Body at level 18, Lord Shiva can turn invisible and become ethereal, representing his ability to move between planes of existence and become one with the cosmos. At level 19, we get final ability score improvement, adding +2 to wisdom, reaching to 19. At the final level, Lord Shiva gets Perfect Self, where at 0 key points, he can regain ki without taking rest. This symbolizes his endless cosmic energy and his ability to continue fighting even when drained. In the artwork here, we are trying to mix both the mythological aspects of Lord Shiva with a D&D Monk of the Way of the Open Hands. His pose here is an amalgamation of the classic monk meditation pose with hand sign and playing his hand drum and standing on one toe on the top of the highest peak with the Tandava dance pose. We have drawn the fantasy monk prayer beads and saffron baggy pants paired with a tiger skin garb. We made tattoos of a snake and rumbling water on his upper body and arms to symbolize his snake and the river Ganga he holds with his hair. So, here's the final artwork of Lord Shiva as a Dungeons and Dragons hero. Hope you like the art and the discussion. Tell us which mythological or fictional character you want to see as a fantasy hero or villain next, and we will be drawing them while discussing it with you. If you like this video, please check out our channel where we make art, discuss on mythology, stories, video games and many other things. We are also available for art commissions. You can also like, share and subscribe and also leave your valuable comment. Thank you. See you soon.